Sort of how did disgust come to be? There's a pretty simple framework that most people agree on, is that it starts with an aversion to toxins and poisons. This is very common throughout the animal kingdom. You taste something and maybe it tastes bitter or spicier. You know, there's some sensation that that signals this is toxic or poisonous, and the appropriate behavioral response is to get it out of your mouth. Now, once this behavioral response of get it out of my mouth has already evolved, then it can be appropriated and used for other purposes where that's the correct behavioral response. So there we go. An aversion to infectious agents. So if you're a hunter-gatherer living in a 50-person tribe and you're nomadic, and so you're not, you go to the bathroom in one place and then you move the next day, so pathogens aren't following you around and your population density is too small to support pathogenic microorganisms, then you don't really have to worry about infectious disease very much. However, if you start living in cities and with lots of domesticated animals, infectious disease explodes. And suddenly and that's the number one cause of mortality in early cities and early agricultural civilization. Suddenly there's a huge evolutionary benefit to avoiding pathogenic microorganisms. And if you already have a behavioral response to your mouth of moving away from something, from toxins and poisons, it's easy for this to build upon that existing infrastructure. And with a toxin or a poison, you could sometimes maybe eat a little bit of it, which might not hurt you. You could nibble on it. But suddenly with bacteria and other microbes, even the slightest contact with them can cause a huge problem, because of how they grow exponentially. Disgust probably became much more sensitive to that at that point to avoid any form of contact with the mouth or with the body. So it probably became a stronger behavioral response. And then an aversion to moral or social offenses. If you already have this response of there's some things that are impure and contaminated and you must stay away from, then to the extent that that behavior is beneficial in your society, maybe it makes you more groupish and concerned about foreigners, or there are certain sacred images within your society that need to be defended, or ideals, then disgust can be roped into that and in sort of a moral and social sense.